6:55 now on Arizona's Morning News with Jim Sharp and LaDonna Harvey. And Simpsons creator James L. Brooks is making his return to the director's chair after nearly 15 years in Ella McCay. Brandon King has more on this complicated family dramedy.
I'm resigning immediately. You're governor. Congratulations.
Any last minute advice?
Don't take Ambien more than 3 nights in a row.
In theaters this week, Ella McCay. It's 2008, the Great Recession is in full swing, and Albert Brooks's Governor Bill is made a member of the incoming presidential cabinet. Taking his place is Emma Mackey as the similarly named Ella McCay, the younger idealistic lieutenant governor. Sounds great, right? Well, it would be, except for Ella's personal problems getting in the way of her work, including a potential scandal involving her husband Ryan, played by Jack Lowden, and her absentee father trying to make amends, played by Woody Harrelson. Simply put, Ella McCay does not work nearly as well as it could. It's well shot, Hans Zimmer's score is nice, Julie Kavner is a complete scene stealer as Ella's secretary, but the movie is riddled with tediously twee and stilted dialogue, plot points that weave in and out unfocused, seemingly no interest in diving into its admittedly interesting political setting, and at just under 2 hours, it barely figures out where it wants to leave the audience. James L. Brooks likely imagined this to be a quirky, fairly light drama, reminding people of trying their best in tough times. It's a shame the results don't add up to much. For KTAR News, I'm Brandon King.
Good morning. It is 5:24 on Arizona's Morning News. Avatar is now a trilogy as Avatar Fire and Ash takes you back to the theater for a darker adventure on the world of Pandora. Brandon King has more.
My people cried for help. Ava did not come.
In theaters this week, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Shortly after the events of 2022's Avatar Way of Water, the Sully clan are thrown into a new adventure to protect their new home and stop the machinations of Stephen Lang's Colonel Quaritch, now allied with Varang, the sadistic leader of the film's new Ash people, played by Game of Thrones' Una Chaplin. The bullet points of Fire and Ash could easily apply to its two predecessors, storylines that are either too broad or wondrously expansive, themes that are either woefully derivative or deeply unifying, and visual effects that everyone agrees will definitely win the Oscar. But credit to Jim Cameron, Fire and Ash does have a few tricks up its sleeve. For one, Una Chaplin makes for an excellently layered, despicable antagonist alongside Stephen Lang. Our heroes are properly reeling from the last movie, only making their stakes more tangible than ever before. Combine that with action scenes and a third act that maybe land better than either of the first two movies, it throws Cameron's ingredients for this franchise together with more ferocity and grandeur than ever before. For KTAR News, I'm Brandon King.
Good morning, I'm Colton Krolak here with Heidi Hommel. Just 6 days left in 2025 and both Damon Allred and Brandon King are here to recap the best movies that dazzled audiences this year.
2025, a big year with a lot of big movies. So what stood out?
After a lot of decision making, we have crafted what we believe to be our best movies of 2025.
Kicking off my list is No Other Choice. Park Chan-wook's latest is an unhinged dark comedy on assassinating potential rivals for a job application. It's hilarious, fulfilling, and a masterclass in cinematography.
And my number 5 goes to The Secret Agent, Clever Mendoza Filho's densely written, genre-bending political drama set during the 70s dictatorship in Brazil and featuring a triple threat performance from Wagner Moura. At number 4, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. The auteur's long-talked-about dream project excels as a father-son paradigm on the balance of love and progress, drenched in gorgeous gothic imagery that few other takes on Mary Shelley's novel have ever showcased.
My number 4 goes to Hamnet. Chloe Zhao's take on the House of Shakespeare is one of the most beautiful portrayals I've ever seen of art as a means through grief. At number 3, I've got 28 Years Later. I'm still shocked at how many highs Danny Boyle hits in his return to the zombie franchise, a phenomenal foot chase sequence, and Alfie Williams gives about as stellar a child performance as you can get.
And at my number 3 spot, Sorry Baby. Actor and writer Ava Victor makes an exceptional directorial debut balancing bleak drama and gallows humor about a literature professor trying to get their life back to some kind of normalcy. At number 2 is The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Yes, technically a 2024 release that went wide earlier this year. No, I will not stop bringing up Iranian director Mohammad Rasulov's gripping portrayal of a family in the midst of paranoia over generational divides and national protest.
Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another is my runner-up, if for no other reason than the perfect scenarios he puts his all-star cast through. Chase Infinity in a fireball of a breakout role, Benicio del Toro's memorable but necessary comic relief, and of course, Leonardo DiCaprio tying together an incredible last 20 minutes.
My number one for 2025, Ryan Coogler made an opus this year in Sinners, a genre-hopping hybrid where every element, cast, direction, pacing, themes, music are firing on all cylinders.
Sinners made my top spot as well. It's perfect on nearly every level, from the deeper messaging to musical staging to just pure blockbuster appeal. I think Ryan Coogler really covers all bases of movie watchers. For KTAR News, I'm Damon Allred.
And I'm Brandon King. Happy holidays.
Intermission. End of intermission.
5:55 now on Arizona's Morning News with Jim Sharp and LaDonna Harvey. And Gerard Butler's Greenland became a surprise action hit during the pandemic. This week, Greenland 2, Migration, takes audiences on another disaster movie ride. And here's Brandon King with more.
Our situation is getting worse. Do we think there's anywhere that's safe from all of this?
I'll take care of you both till my last breath.
In theaters this week, Greenland 2, Migration. Returning from the first film are Gerard Butler and Morena Baccarin, two parents raising their teenage son in a Greenland bunker, now one of the only safe places on Earth after a comet destroyed much of the planet. At least that's what's generally believed until word starts to circulate that the comet's impact crater might just be a safe zone. So the three embark on a journey towards that crater in southern France and through whatever remnants of humanity may be left. Greenland 2 is not particularly great, visually muddy and coasting on these solid, if not underutilized performances from our main trio. This is a film that you have definitely seen before and doesn't try too much to break out of its trappings and cliches. That being said, director Rick Romanois, in his fourth team-up with Gerard Butler, does move the film along at a pretty brisk pace, and some of the set pieces are decently staged and exciting. It is not an early year standout by any stretch, but for fans of the first film, it doesn't ask you to suspend too much of your disbelief. For KTAR News, I'm Brandon King.
An 18th century historical drama about Bohemian religious communes that doubles as a folk musical. I can't think of more wrong. Brandon King has more on the Testament of Anne Lee.
I have seen a chosen people waiting for us in America. We will plant a great big tree with deep and solid roots.
In theaters this week, The Testament of Anne Lee. In the mid to late 1700s, Anne Lee, played by Amanda Seyfried, begins preaching the Word of God in England. Anne, alongside her brother William, played by Lewis Pullman, and her husband Abraham, played by Christopher Abbott, eventually take their teachings to the New World, beginning the Shakers, a Christian offshoot named for how they would erratically dance and move during prayers. Director Mona Fastvold, best known for co-writing the Oscar-winning The Brutalist, crafts a character drama split between intimacy and fully transfixing hypnosis. In other words, it's very easy to fall into, but it's just as compelling if you can pull yourself out and you can see the approaches to gender norms, cults of personality, and trying to find just some slice of the world for the people you care about. And in the middle of it all is Amanda Seyfried, a performance that can balance kindness, authority, and pure mysticism in tandem, defy you to find her flaws, and then turn expectations on their head with a song and dance number. If you have a bit of faith, it goes a long way with this one. For KTAR News, I'm Brandon King.
Brandon King has more on an international contender that's now getting a wide release.
What's your name?
Arco. What year is it? It's 2075. Tell me where you're from. I can't.
In theaters this week, Arco. In 2075, a young girl named Iris, voiced by Romy Faye, lives with her robot nanny while her parents work in the city. One day, a boy in a rainbow cape and a strange outfit crashes into her backyard. Arco, voiced by Giuliano Valdi. Arco comes from nearly 1,000 years in the future and now needs Iris's help to get back to his family in the future. French director Hugo Bienvenu makes his feature-length directorial debut here, putting a lot of the focus on the perspective of two very eager kids in a world of distant adults, very much akin to something like E.T. or The Iron Giant, topped off by fun, neo-futuristic world-building and a vibrant, colorful, even thrilling at points art style. Some of the character designs, though, do make them difficult to latch onto. The supporting cast, including the likes of Mark Ruffalo and Andy Samberg, are used to mix results, and the story can at times feel plain, even scattered compared to some of its bigger moments. Whether you find the overall results slightly hammy or earnestly optimistic, there is a charm and energy to Arco that feels difficult to ignore. For KTAR News, I'm Brandon King.